Let's find our feet and ground down. I'll shut up for a second. Take a deep breath. I want you to feel your exhale as a release, releasing everything down and out of your feet. At the same time, you're activating your feet, so get those little shifts out, plug into your toes, and like a zipper or a wave of water, zipper up your body with that energy as you engage your quads, pull the belly button into the spine, open the shoulders, settle them out of the ears, and just breathe. Start to feel your breath circulating. Take 3 more like this. Just chill out and let it kind of go. Shake out your, nervous energy. By the way, dance breaks are always encouraged. Inhale, let's begin with vinyasa, or a few. Exhale, slowly fold down, be soft through those knees, drop the head completely, shake it out gently, always being mindful of your cervical spine. Coming up halfway, catch the shins, or drop down to the fingertips. Exhale, close it all off. Look to the left and the right, check in with the neck. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, step back nice and slow. Get that booty down in line with your shoulders. Engage the core. Lower the knees if you need to. And slowly drip down through the triceps. Roll those shoulders back. Inhale, push the heart up. Don't squeeze the glutes. Exhale, tap back into child's pose. Push your head through that window. And inhale, rise back up into down dog for 5 breaths. Start to move around here. Pedal the feet back and forth. Explore your hips and your calves. The feet are so important. We'll get into that. Feel all 10 of your toes. Open up everything you can on the back side of the leg. Inhale, eyes forward. Take a step or a walk to the front of your mat. Lifting up halfway. Exhale, fold. Let it all dump out. Inhale, soft knees, rise all the way up. Eyes follow the thumbs. Exhale, take that left foot, step it across the midline behind your right leg, and open up that side body. Take 3 breaths. Explore the intercostal muscles, the obliques. Step through that toe box and feel the whole side body opening up from fingertips to toes. Inhale up, engage. Exhale, tip the other way and find new space. Breathing into this crunch in our obliques, warming up the midsection. Inhale, back to the center. Slowly float down. Rise up halfway, starting to feel that heat build and those hamstrings warm up. Exhale, lower down. Use the knees or toes. Silky smooth chaturanga. Roll back, push the floor away. Exhale, tap back into child's pose. Let's come right up into down dog for 3 breaths. Hamstrings, hips, settling into the hands. Pushing that head through the biceps and explore, pedal the feet, shimmy the hips from side to side. Just kind of feel all the spaces that you can possibly access in this pose. Inhale, big step or walk to the front of your mat, resetting with a nice tall spine. Exhale, fold. Soft knees, roll all the way up. Engage the quads. Exhale, pull the hands down to the heart. Inhale up, tip to one side for just 1 breath. Inhale up, using that core to stabilize. Exhale, other side. Inhale, reset. Exhale, float down. I've got to warm you up. Inhale, halfway. Step back and down. Find your power, even if you put your knees down. Roll back, lift the heart, don't squeeze the glutes. Exhale. This time, let's enjoy child's pose for 3 to 5 breaths. If you need down dog, go get them. Do you, boo. I want you to get the most you can out of this. If you enjoy child's pose, take those knees wide, press into the tops of the feet. We hardly ever invert our feet. Think about all that we can give back to our feet after standing and sitting and walking and running on them all day. So wiggle those toes. Find space in the hips. As long as it feels okay to your knees. A prop is beautiful here. It can be very passive. Okay, extend those arms and let's all meet in down dog if you're not already there. Taking those hands, grounding them down through the palms, and then hook into your fingers. You'll make a little pocket with your palm. Take one more deep breath here. Inhale, eyes to the front. Those strong hands, step one foot forward outside the right hand. And step the other foot outside the other hand. So we come into this nice strong squat. Lifting all the way up. Point the toe, engage the quad. Point the toe, engage the quad. The toes are still facing out. That's keeping our hips open. Take a deep breath up the spine. Plug into those toes and slowly drip forward. Now we're just kind of accessing a different space in the hamstrings. Up around the glutes and the piriformis. Wiggle into these poses. Shake it out gently and work into the hamstrings and the glutes. Drop the head. Inhale up halfway. Pop those toes back to the front. Exhale, close it off. Tuck your thumbs into your elbows. Let the head just be heavy and sway back and forth. Keeping your breath nice and strong because you are upside down. Inhale, eyes up. Pop those toes back out to the sides and sink into your squat with me. Yeah, I probably should have put my hair up, but whatever, it's hair. It'll get in the way no matter where it is. From this nice low squat, you can be in a garland pose, up high, closer to a goddess. Either way, I just want you working into those hips. Slowly flow up. If you need a little release, squeeze through the quads, strong core, and then exhale, back down. Take one deep breath. Inhale, strong feet push all the way up. Pop those toes back to the front. Step them back into the hips, lining up your bones. Big breath up. Exhale, sink into your chair. It doesn't have to be super intense, but we're warming up those quads. Take a deep breath. Exhale, fold, drop the head. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step back and down. Lift the heart, push the floor away, 3 rounds. Exhale, down. So we're lifting the heart, we're making space through our whole abdominal wall. Think about all the length we have from here to here. Open that up, crack your sternum open and take a deep breath. It may not come quickly, but be patient. Take it nice and slow. Exhale, back down. Inhale, lift the bum just a bit. Stay low through the chest and sink back into child's pose. Really working into those shoulders and biceps. Creating warmth, radiating from the core out to our limbs. Wiggle here for about 2 more breaths. And we'll get into those feet. If there's ever a time when your feet don't like to be inverted or pushing through the toes with weight bearing on top, just flatten them out, use a prop or sit on your bum. Totally optional. Okay, push into those hands so we start to sit up nice and tall. Lean into them to curl the toes under. Sit back as far as you need to. Keep your hands here for counterbalance and weight distribution. If your feet crave some nice fire toes and opening through the arches, the toe box, and spreading the toes, it's so valuable for the support system of your whole entire body. Happy feet, happy hips, happy hamstrings, happy back, right? Good alignment, balancing through both feet. I think our feet deserve a lot more love than they're given. So we're breathing here. If you're ready to come out anytime. Inhale 1 more. Exhale down the toes. Hands back out front. Let's slowly flatten out those feet and gently sit back onto them. Wiggle into the tops of the feet. Making sure everything feels good. And then when your feet feel ready to open back up again, come into all fours, close those knees, and zipper the thighs together. You can point your toes together now and lift the feet up as you can. Hey, this kind of works, right? So now we're engaging and pushing through the arches, engaging the toes. Think about opening up all the fascia from the knee down to the toes, breaking open all that dense tissue and making new space, creating fresh joint lubrication and better awareness. Okay, from all fours here now, we're gonna lift the right leg like a puppy at a fire hydrant. Hook that right foot and roll your ankle both ways. Wiggling, stabilizing through this tripod shape of your knee, and your two hands is gonna fire up your core too. Now take your knee in 3 to 4 big hip circles. Don't kick your plants. Warming up that core. And bring the knee back to the front. Finding all kinds of mobility through that whole hip joint. Now, kick it out to the side. Don't hate me, this is kind of barf-tastic. But stabilize here. Lift it as high as you can. If you need to pulse a little, you can. Spread those toes, and then finally, exhale the foot down. Plant your foot not on your plant. And we're gonna curl the back toes under and sit back. So again, a little bit more in the toes. If you need them flat, that's fine. What we are gonna end up doing is opening up through the inner thigh and the hip. You can decide if you want to lift the toes and really feel it through the top of the leg. You can sit back into the foot into more of a saddle pose and open up. But you're somewhere between a middle split and a child's pose. And it's nice because you don't have to commit to either one. You can choose. It's what we call a hybrid. So keep that belly button tucked in and core strong. To come out of this, you just walk the hands forward, put the knee down, and pull it back in line. But we're going to take that same leg and lift it up to the sky. Like we're going to touch our toes to our head, which would be awesome kind of for some people, I think. So that engagement there, that long length from the right shoulder down through the hip, through the femur to the knee, is long and stretching wide open now. Now take and pull the knee into the chest and reverse it. Create length through the spine. Inhale, open up again. Think length and lightness. Exhale, softly crunch in and tap down. Inhale, cat and cow for just a moment. Back to center. Let's take the left leg now. We're zippered in the center so we feel balanced. Lifting the left leg, hook that left foot, and roll the ankle both ways. So we're finding mobility and joint lubrication, cycling through mobility. I just think it helps so much with every day-to-day activity and yoga awareness, but also just finding those new spaces, especially if you cross-train with any kind of weightlifting or running or cycling. Trying to align this hip back up over the knee can be quite a doozy. Set that foot down. Curl the back toes and release. So inner thigh love, you may feel this one a little bit less or a little bit more. You'll know the way your hips kind of settle into their spaces. Which one is your power leg, your power hip, your power foot? I'll give you a few moments to sink in. If you'd like to take it a little bit deeper, you can come down into a saddle and have some extension there, or stay elevated. A prop is great here, like a medicine ball or a wall ball is wonderful here. Walk those hands out. Slowly lift the hips, put down the knee, and gently bring it back in to the midline. Line find back up. Take that left leg, and we're going to send the toes up to the sky. Thinking length through the whole left side of the body. Exhale, pull it in for a sweet crunch. Dome the back, press into your strong hands. Inhale, open space, shoulders out of the ears. Exhale, round and find strength and length. Inhale, find space and breath. And then slowly take the knee down. Sit back into your toes. Come up nice and tall. Being that it is a full moon, I would love to just give a little bit of awareness to our spine and opening our chest. No heavy back bending. I want to make sure your low back feels nice and stable. We're just going to tip the head back. All you have to do is open the chest. Crack open that sternum. Think pulling your shoulders back and just breathing in and out of your heart. Okay? So for any modification of a camel pose, you can leave the feet flat or curl the toes under. You're going to send the hips forward to engage. Don't clench the glutes, but they'll naturally engage to protect your low spine, and open the heart. It can be this simple. I still want you to be able to breathe and swallow. You don't need to throw your chin up and open your total, like crack back your cervical spine. Just think openness and lightness. 3 more breaths. Taking any variation that you choose. Find that space that opens up everything through the heart, down through the shoulder. Inhale back up and sit down. We're seated kind of in a saddle pose. If you'd like to come onto your bum, you can. For a moment, we're going to wiggle into our hips this way. If this feels comfortable to you, if you're on your bum, just kind of rotate around all 4 corners for a moment. Pressing into those toes, and then lift up. Curl the toes, draw the knees in. I like to play with mobility without my hands because it tests my core. Please use your hands whenever you want to. Anytime I'm moving back in or rebalancing, it's just a little test that I like to give myself through my practice. And you can play with it. You'll find that you use your hands a lot more than maybe you need to, or you could if on a good day. So let's bring the right foot forward, with or without hands. We're going to plug into our strong feet. Tick-tock in and out of that hamstring. Sometimes I like to pull the hands together. These opposing forces into the midline remind me to engage my core, engage my bandhas, lock my centers so that I stay balanced. But if you need to, just kind of creep and crawl through it. Use your hands, especially with any injuries or mobility issues. Okay, plug into that strong right foot, strong front foot. I don't care what foot you're doing, as long as you do the other one next time. So, big strong hands, strong core, strong foot. Step that back foot forward. Little squat here. And we're going to take the opposite foot, step it back, silky smooth down onto the knee, because we have to be sweet to our patellas, right? So, let's find this side. Hamstrings are, not easy for some of us. Most of us. I don't dare assume anything, but hamstrings are tricky. I could teach 3 or 4 times a day and work out and still have to reopen them every time. They're just tight little buggers. Okay, hang out on those spots that feel good. If everyone else is still moving, if the teacher says to move on, but you feel good, hang out there. Explore that space. You take yoga and pay for yoga for your body, not for anybody else's. So, find that sweet spot. And then when you're ready, inhale forward, plug in, engage, hop forward and squat. Now, back to the original leg, smooth down, and sit back. Let's spend some time here. Ardha Hanuman, half split. Even if the leg is bent, I want you to keep that knee buoyant. There's no point in locking it out if that's not accessible for you. This back foot can be curled under or kind of propped up like tripod. All you need to do is plug that heel into the floor and splay those toes. Open them up. Pull back just a little bit energetically like you were wiping some off your heel. And you're going to get the work done, regardless if your knee is locked out or if you're all the way down here. I would rather keep you up and pulling back to get all the way up into your piriformis than I would have you hunching forward and trying to make yourself feel cool or go deep or whatever. You don't need to do any of that. Push that big toe toward the wall in front of you. Keep that foot in line. Some of us will kind of open up and sole out. I know I do, that's why I said it. But when we push that big toe forward, it squares the foot back toward the floor or that flat plane, and so it engages and gets both sides. All right, rock back into the front foot. We're going to spring forward, and then slowly sit back, drip down, spend some time on the other leg. Now you will find one leg, peaches. The other one, cuss words. But that's just the way it goes. So spend equal amounts of time reciprocating your movements equally, even if it feels like you could do anything you wanted on this leg. Be gentle with both, because one of them is definitely overcompensating, and you should be ever so grateful that that strong one pulls the weight that it does. I know that's how I feel. Inhale, rock into that front foot. Lift the chest. One of my favorite things to remind my students is when you come into a nice low lunge or a high lunge, we tend to just kind of dip back. And I call it sticking out your tits and bits. We don't want to do this. There's no spinal strength or integrity here. So pull that belly button back into your spine. Fires up this nice long, straight, stacked bones energy from the shoulder down the femur. And then we come into this place that's not as deep, not as forward, but so lit, so warm through the hip flexor. And that's so important, right? That's what we're doing here. So how we were just moving back and forth, now we're just gonna come up nice and tall and breathe. We've built up our heat, we've built up our energy, and now we're letting it just kind of marinate right in this gorgeous hip space that holds pretty much just all of our stability, and I just think it resonates through every facet of our life with courage, stability, foundational issues, confidence, compassion, consideration, awareness on every level. It comes from here, it comes from our guts, our solar plexus and our base chakra, our sacral chakra. So tip forward. Now, back. No hands or hands. Bring that knee back in. Take the other foot out. Lean forward. Press into your strong foot. Pull back. Find length and strength here. Plus, I love how sweaty I get after I build up all this heat and then ask my body very gently to be very still and very engaged and very strong. That's where a lot of my meditative moments come from. It takes patience and practice, but I hope you enjoy it too. Oh, I'm so happy it's Friday. Inhale up. Exhale, lunge forward, taking that heart with you. Hands down. Lock your inner hand down. Lift that back leg if you'd like to. If not, stay low. You're going to wind into the midline, into that bent knee. I'm going to raise my leg up. You can stay right here, look over the shoulder, or you can lift that arm up and create this nice long stretch. The further you wind into the knee or the midline, it's going to fire up your medius and your piriformis, which is so beautiful for your hamstring. It's also a beautiful option for revolve side angle. Exhale, bring that hand down, knee up or down, lift up in a nice, long, beautiful, tall stretch. That glute is so just lit and engaged right now. We're not clenching. Pull it in and exhale, back down nice and slow. Take a vinyasa or just sit right back in child's pose. Push the floor away. Exhale. 2 breaths here as we reset. Inhale, eyes up. Lift the hips, drop the head, finish your exhale. And then inhale, try to remember what leg needs to come up front now. Drip down through that knee. Inhale up through your just nice Anjaneyasana, no deep back bend needed. And then exhale, plug into that inside hand. Lift the back leg if you need to, totally optional. Pull the heart out, create length from spine to tail, tail to skull. And then wind in, lift and push through that strong front foot. Find your length here. So much strength in this pose. You're twisted, you're balancing, you're reaching. Take your breath nice and slow. Okay, one more. Exhale, slowly come down. Stabilize, take your time. Ooh, totally sore today. Lifting up, tits and bits check in, tuck it in. Bend that knee to make it easier, to tuck the pelvis, to create strength through your midsection. There's no point in losing it, trying to be romantic looking or deep or flexy, okay? Inhale up. There's a time and a place for that. Exhale down, vinyasa, or just slide back to child's pose. Exhale. So everybody just take child's pose for 5 breaths now. We've built a lot of heat. Come back to those hips, knees, feet, low leg, sending your head through the window if it's available, and just melt in. See how it feels now versus at the beginning of class. One more breath. Exhale, hands down. Join me in a puppy pose, another light little back bend for the full moon if you would like to. This can be as simple as lifting the hips and taking the head down, or you can take the elbows out, spread the knees, and just think about pulsing down and creating length. Or if you love puppy pose and you can sink right into it, go ahead. 3 more breaths, either pulsing or finding your way through this. Such a beautiful heart opener, and it doesn't have to be as deep as it sometimes looks online, especially on Instagram. Props are so beautiful here, under the chin, even sometimes a big bolster right under the belly, and letting the hips just be over the heart. Inhale, rock into those forearms. Oh, hello, core. Slowly let the hips dip down. You can stay here in this Sphinx pose shape, but your legs are in a prone triangle, prone diamond. So the feet are together, the knees are wide, and you're going to send those feet down-ish. They may not go down, that's okay, mine don't. But you're gonna access this juicy space in the outer hip that's quite lovely. And sometimes it feels a little funky, but it's really, really good for you because we spend so much time opening in that external rotation that when we switch it around, we're still open, but get to massage the outsides instead. The hips are down. The chest can be up, or you can totally release here. There's a little bit more pressure when you release the chest down, but you may favor it. To come out of it, we're just going to engage that core, press the shoulders out of the ear, and zipper those thighs together. Slowly extend the legs, and use your core to lift and walk, or slide those knees up. Thighs are zippered together. Sit back. Now we're in a child's pose shape that is nice and tight and round. Think like a turtle shell. So the hips are closed. We're just kind of massaging the quad, the hip flexors on the femurs. See how it feels to just close it all off after we've had them so open. And then rise up gently into hero pose. If you don't mind hero pose for a few breaths, I just wanted to open my palms and let them sit on my quads for a moment. Just a 5-breath rebound. Little reflection, check in about halfway through class. Tuck the pelvis. It's very easy to stick out your bits here, but we don't need to do that. So tuck the pelvis, pull the belly button back to the spine. Open up your hands for energy, unless you prefer them down. Feel all that heat swirling and building, and now we're still again. Such good detox. Sitting on the feet momentarily, just to plug into those ankles, and then when we free them, they'll get this fresh rush of oxygen and circulation. You can even rock on the ankles a little bit if your ankles don't mind. I have one ankle that kind of minds on some days. But if it was painful, I would not do it. That's just wrong. Don't be cruel to be cool. I just made that up. Okay, so something else I love to do is to press into the toes and lift the knees. You may need props here. Just breaking into that fascia on the low leg. It's not something that's accessible every day or for everyone, but I do love it. And if you have been following my account, you know I love tricky, weird toe balances because the tops of my feet crave them so much. So sometimes you can get into this place where you sit and just really open up all that tissue. Because think about the time that we spend inverted with our feet like this and just loading all this weight all day long, every day. And when we sleep, we don't point our toes. So it's so beautiful to open it back up. So you can play with that, maybe lifting one leg at a time, shift your weight off to release some of the pressure, and try that. But moving forward, let's find our seats. Take those legs right out front, and now those feet have had weight on them, so let's be easy to them. Just kind of shake them out gently, maybe bounce the knees, letting all that circulation kind of reassociate, flood the feet, and get them all nice and juicy again. Open, point, roll the ankles, and then we're gonna pull a knee in. I'm gonna start with the right leg. Pull it in, but keep your weight on both cheeks. Sometimes we tend to kind of tip over and make space to access a deeper crunch or stronger hold, but you don't need to do that. Just go where your body will let you today. Clearly, I love rolling my ankles. I love checking in. Open the hip. Our hips are feeling pretty good, I'm sure. We're kind of nice and warm, but I love to come back to the basics and go through all the socket movements and the basic rotations. Pull that knee in again and take it to the outside of your mat or the outside of your space, and windshield wiper, just kind of knock it in and out of rotation. Little internal engagement and then external. What I like to find here is that spot right on the outside of the hip. My toes are super flared and strong. I'm stabilizing with my opposite hand, keeping as much weight as I can handle. If it's very hard, lean away. Make space and massage. Self-massages is so wonderful in some of these poses. And as we kind of cool down and get into these warm spaces, I hope that you feel comfortable enough to kind of take care of yourself in that way. Pulling it back across the midline, let's take a hip stretch. You can decide to take many options here. Sometimes a tall chest and light pressure on the femur, or no pressure at all, is perfectly deep enough. Some people will prefer half lotus. It's beautiful. If you want to do that, take that now. Otherwise, a nice simple hip stretch. This base leg can be lifted a little bit or a whole lot. Maybe you just need the toes. 3 more deep breaths. I love to press through the backs of my palms and send my heart forward. It gets a really nice stretch in the front of the shoulders too. Slowly push that foot away. Close your hip back again. We're going to shoot it out. Point the toes and let it slowly drip down. Nice. Shake it. Let's do the other side. Square your hips. Pull your knee in. Balance. Check in with the compression, the bend, and your ankle. And then swivel that hip open. Little bit of massage here through the knee. And then release. Take it outside the mat. Pull that knee in. Sit up as tall as you can. Hinge the foot. We're creating a right-ish angle, but just go where your body feels it. And if you're not feeling it, maybe hinge the leg open a bit more. And if you prefer movement to kind of get into those spaces, then do that. I like to move into my space and then hang out there for a few moments. Feeling the breath kind of calm down a bit. Lift it up, pull it back in. Feel your space first, stabilize first. Strong through the hips, settling down through all four corners, lifting up and deciding which way you need to go. Sitting back, pulling the knee in. Both my feet are super active right now. That protects the whole leg and engages the whole leg. Sometimes a little bit of motion here is also welcomed. If you really want to get into that side, but you really don't have to move. You can let the pose do the work for you. Push that base foot away. Slowly close the hip, extend the leg, and just shake it out. Point the toe, oh wait, lift it up, and slowly let it drip down. Awesome. Open the leg. I'm going to start with the right leg open. Pull the left foot in. It's like your L shape, like your Janu Shirshasana, but we're hinged open. So we're going to turn it into a lateral stretch instead of a forward stretch. But that same kind of engagement, opposing forces of your strong foot, active and engaged, into your strong quadricep. We're going to take that side arm and reach for the foot, getting into that juicy low back. From here, you can catch the toes. You can use the elbow for spiraling support. You can reach that arm over, and you can catch the head. Or you can support the low back and just keep the arm low, depending on how fatigued your shoulders are today. Breathe into that space. Two more breaths. Inhale, take that top hand, send it all the way behind your back hip, and we're going to hoist our bottoms up for a long, beautiful gate pose. Think length from fingertips to toes. Breathing into the opposing side, opening up this whole side body. Exhale, sit down nice and easy. This is another little ab test. I like to bring one leg in and kick it out, and then softly align myself without my hands. And then I'm ready, and I also just got another little core workout. Little tweaks. Okay, this side, reaching, finding length here. Find that spot. Elbow is there. Use all the tools you have and any prop you need. So we start maybe open and then reaching if we need to go deeper. Some days we'll find our foot with our top hand. Some days we don't need to go that deep. Two more breaths. Make them sweet. Slow it down. Find the control and the beauty of the yoga that is you being strong enough to stay in the damn pose even though you want to get out of it. Take that hand back, stabilize, push, and find length here. Nice, long, low gate pose. It's also a beautiful kind of prep pose for side planking. Opening up the side. And then sweep that arm forward to get a little rounding in the back. And come up nice and tall. Take that extended leg, bring it right in. We're going to stagger the legs for like a double pigeon, but not stacking them yet. We're just going to stagger them. So we settle down through all four corners, and we're just going to kind of shimmy forward. I love to shimmy forward because it frees your low spine as you're kind of bending into a place that could be dangerous for a lot of us. Your SI joint and that low spine area can be tricky for a lot of people. So keeping the heart up and hinging with integrity is very important for that soft bone, right? For that soft joint. So I like to shimmy. It frees the space and allows you to move into your body's natural kind of motion without any unnecessary pressure or pulling. No traction needed. One more breath. Inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Sit back, core engaged. Flip your stagger. Settle in, both hips. And even if you need to do a little roll here or prefer a roll instead of a fold, you can do that. Wiggle into your pose. You can drop your head. You can even, go all the way down to the floor if that's what your body needs today. But try to keep strength through your low back and engaging your lats so that you're not just dumping and rounding. There's also a time for that too, but not right now. Inhale up nice and tall. Take your hands to the inside and open the legs into a wide angle. TikTok from cheek to cheek. Kind of allows you to move and lean forward and in and out of spaces while you re-engage and realign your low back. And we're just going to come down either onto a prop, hands, forearms, and enjoy a nice long wide angle stretch. Remember, keep those shoulders out of the ears, keep the heart up, pull that belly button to the spine, keep your back supported. One more breath. Okay, sit up nice and tall. Plug into those fingers, point the toes, and we're going to walk the toes into the midline. Moving the hands out of the way. And then flex those feet. Wiggle the hips a little bit. Shake out the knees. I love a little massage through the quads here at inner thighs, remembering to sweep back up toward your heart as you finish. Check in with your knees and your feet. And then we're going to come into those hamstrings a little bit deeper. If you know that your hamstrings are not going to handle this, then open them up. Make it easier for yourself. Make it work for you. The wider the legs are, the easier it is for a hamstring stretch, for a forward fold, or any variation of Paschimottanasana. Okay, so I like to start about as wide as my mat and hinge forward without any traction, no pulling, no reaching, no jutting forward. And I'm gonna just lift my heart and hinge like a doll. Wherever I end up is where I'm gonna start, okay? No judgment, no overachieving needed. We're just gonna reach for what we can grab in a perfect hinge, okay? So maybe that's your pants or a sock or big toes. And then we're gonna kind of rock if you need to. Or if you're like my friend Robin, she can just fold up and right in half. It's so beautiful. And then if that's the case, do it. Go ahead and head there now. We're gonna be here for about 20 seconds. Just kind of working into our hamstrings. As you shimmy down or pulse or rock back and forth, your hamstrings are loosening up, and you're reteaching your hamstrings that it's okay to let go, give a little bit more space. Move your feet in whenever you're ready. And find your groove, you know. Keep that low back strong. When you're done, enjoy your breath there. You don't need to go all the way down. That's not the goal. Every shimmy does not take you deeper, but it certainly helps your body feel safe, I think, moving into those spaces. And then you get to where you're going and just enjoy it. Dropping the head adds a little bit of weight, a little bit of length through the spine. Take your time. We'll take 3 more breaths here. I hope you're wearing your patient pants. Inhale up nice and tall. Bring those knees in, being sweet to your low back. We're going to take a gentle twist. And the other way. All right. Lift those knees and close those hips. Find your magical bouncing butt spot for your beautiful Navasana, everybody's favorite pose. We're going to lift the legs one at a time. Even if you only go halfway, it's still working. And just kind of tap the toes gently, back and forth. Just a few more rounds. I like to do about a total of 10. And then cross those ankles, pull them through, or swing them around the side, and meet me in plank pose. One final vinyasa. Drip down through your chaturanga. Inhale, heart up. Exhale, child's pose. Pull that right knee right into your chest and down on the floor for a sweet little pigeon pose before we go. This is another pose that will do all of the work for you if you wanted to. You can always, I guess I should just be angled, huh? You can always spiral in. You can always lift the heart or take any kind of king pigeon pose variation that you want to. Maybe even push through the back foot, but you really don't need to do anything but just be passive and let the heaviness of your weight sink into your hips and move through those spaces the way it naturally wants to. Trying to keep those hips even. I don't want you dumping into the front foot or sitting on your back cheek unless you absolutely have to because of an injury. But this pose is so essential. It's very good. Release, release, release. What are your full moon intentions? If you have any. You don't have to, but this is kind of a cool time to think about it because it's another long passive pose where we get to kind of meditate or come back to ourselves, our own private little bubble. Intention setting is beautiful. It can be intimidating, but don't worry about that. Don't worry about whether or not you're going to make it come true or it's going to come true because you're thinking about it hard enough. Just let it be something that your mind desires. Free that leg, drip down, and show up for the hips and heels. And it can be as simple as that. Maybe it becomes a little mantra. Maybe it's something you write down and put in front of your eyes a lot to remind you, like a Post-it or a screensaver. Inhale up nice and easy. Tap back into that child's pose and then bring the other knee forward. Slowing it down big time now as we come close to the end of class. I'll give you an option for a little meditation time and Shavasana. This is another good time to kind of gather your thoughts for showing gratitude to yourself, for showing up and getting on your mat today, or your rug, or wherever. You don't need a mat or a rug for any of this. Maybe you just went outside and put your feet in the dirt and enjoyed the sunshine for a moment. It all counts. And I think that there are so many small things we can do to contribute to our own inner peace. And a lot of the times we're just so rushed and we're so pressured to never waste a moment. You're not wasting any moments. You're actually giving yourself more time by slowing down and being sweet to your brain and your body. Tap back into child's pose. And meet me on your seat. You have the option now, we've got about 5 to 6 minutes left to just sit quietly. You can take a Shavasana. I love putting my feet up the wall. I've started my meditation practice again, so I'm going to meditate. And we'll just kind of hang out in this space where you thank your body, you show gratitude silently for everything that you love in your life, because those acknowledgments are so important. They are boundless and worthy. And I hope that you have a great day and an amazing weekend, and I hope this full moon treats you well. Please just relax and kind of let go for a few moments. I'll let you know when it's time to sit back up. Also, feel free to take any last movements that your body needs. Your Shavasana doesn't have to be perfectly still. Your meditation doesn't have to be perfectly silent or still. Do anything else your body is craving. If you really needed an inversion today, something like that. And I hope wherever you are that this practice served you and that you do feel stronger and more full and relaxed. And I hope your eyes are closed right now. I'm going to read you something and then I will let you go, but please keep your eyes closed. There's no reason to move around or even pay attention to me. But I love this author dearly, and this has become my daily mantra. And I'll read it for you. It's my favorite thug unicorn quote right now, and she's amazing. May we raise the bar for how we live our lives. May we ridiculously increase the amount of peace